All right, guys, welcome back. This is week 14 of the NFL season. My name is Nevin. I'm here with MK Sports Talk Nation. I'm here to give my week 14 picks. Last week I kind of broke almost even. I didn't double check, but I'm pretty sure I was almost even with my picks. Not nearly as good as I was hoping to be. A lot of surprises happened last week. Again, I missed the Thursday game with some just inability to get to the phone and everything on time. I would have picked the Raiders to redeem themselves against the Chiefs. Obviously, that didn't happen. But oh well. Moving on. We're gonna start with the 1 o'clock games, kind of like what we did last week. First up is going to be the Steelers at Buffalo. Buffalo is they're leading the league in rushing this year, but they're 32nd in passing, kind of bottom of the barrel, ends of the spectrum when it comes to offense performance. I do like the Steelers to win this game. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. They're just a better all overall team. I think Rex Ryan has run his course in Buffalo, and you will see that be a emphasis of change this year because he's done. Next is Denver at Tennessee. Tennessee's ranked third in the league in rushing this season. Offensively, the Denver Broncos are really towards the bottom of the league. 24th passing, 23rd rushing, respectively. Not very good. Their defense is ranked number 5, which has kind of helped them get to an 8-4. An 8-4 record. But the Tennessee Titans offense is ranked 6, so you're going to see a little back and forth. I really think, I'm going to go with an upset this week, and I'm going to go with Tennessee beating Denver in Tennessee. I just have a feel that this is going to be an upset this week. Other than that, that's my only reason. I'm just feeling an upset there. Next up, as everybody knows, my team is the Philadelphia Eagles. It's hard to be a fan sometimes, but they are hosting the Washington Redskins. Washington is actually second in the league in passing this season, and they are 11th in rushing. Eagles are 10th in rushing, 23rd in passing, 11th in defense, and the Redskins are 24th in defense. So I'm really not sure what to even say here. I'd like to see Philadelphia kind of rebound after 2 lackluster performances. They are at home. Shoulda, coulda, woulda beat Washington last time we played them in Washington, but boy, this is a tough one for me. I'm trying not to be much of a homer, but I think the Eagles will rebound and win this game. Kind of like even a welcome back party for Deshaun Jackson, because I think that Philly might make a run for him in the off season. Don't know if it's wise. Don't know if I would do it. But I think there will be some communication between the two. He's clearly an upgrade over any receiver we have currently on the roster, and that includes Jordan Matthews, who I think is a solid receiver. He's just not a number 1. He's a very solid number 2, very solid slot receiver, but he's not a receiver that you can rely on every week to come in and post up big numbers. I think with the right counterpart, I think Jordan Matthews could be that receiver that would give every team trouble every week. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins kind of got knocked off their 6-game win streak last week. I see them getting right back on the horse in this one. Cardinals are number 2 in defense. Number 9 in offense. I don't understand why the Cardinals are 5-6-1. To be real honest, they should be a lot better than what they are. Just based on team play in general, it's going to be in Miami. It's going to be almost 80 degrees. Going to have some rain, which I think might help Miami out a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins in what I would consider an upset win, just based on statistics alone. Seeing that the offense and defense are both ranked in the top 10. Defense number 2 for Arizona, offense number 9. Miami's kind of bottom of the pack in offense and defense, 25th in both categories, 28th passing, but 8th in rushing. They're just playing a little bit better football, I think, as a team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona wins, but I am going to go with the Dolphins. Next up is the Vikings versus the Jaguars. It is in Jacksonville. Vikings defense, which what you thought would be the strong point coming into the season, is continuing to be the strong point into the season. They are 3rd in passing, but offensive statistics not good at all. They're 25th in the pass and 32nd dead last in the run. That's the reason for their 6-6 start, is they just have nothing offensively. All their injuries for the most part came on the offensive side of the ball, and it's definitely sticking out in their standings and in their overall rankings. They did get off to that quick 5-0 start. And I just think the injury bug just eventually caught up to them. That being said, Jacksonville's defense is 4th in the league. They have a great defense, a nice core group of young players. I don't know, maybe it's the head coach. Maybe it's Gus Bradley just can't get the best out of his team, and maybe we need to look at a different head coach possibly in Jacksonville next year, because with the draft picks that they had and the talent that's down there, there's no reason they should be 2-10. I'm sorry, they're rarely competitive, and it's no good. Vikings win that game. Next, the Texans and the Colts, both teams sitting at 6-6. I'm really not hot on either team. I don't know. I think the Texans are going to be a great team. Maybe not great, but I think they're going to be a more competitive team in the next year or two once Brock Osweiler gets his feet under him a little bit, because they are ranked 30th in passing. And if you're paying a quarterback $70 million over the course of his contract, you want to be a little bit higher than 30th in the league. My pick, I'm gonna go with the Texans. I could very well go with the Colts, to be honest with you, either way. But I think the Colts won last week, so I'm going to give it to the Texans this week, because I don't know if the Colts can do it back-to-back in back-to-back weeks. So next up, Chargers, Panthers. Like I said last week, it all depends on what San Diego Chargers team shows up. They very well should have won last week, but that defense is a complete disaster. I know it's ranked 19th and whatever, but that's just overall game time statistics. Now, you take the game time in the fourth quarter, they got to be almost the worst fourth quarter defense. That's something I'm going to look up and definitely figure out. But they have to be the worst fourth quarter defense in the entire league, and you can't. I mean, I don't know. Carolina's a mess, but it's at home, and for that reason, I'm going with Carolina over the Chargers. Bengals versus the Browns. This might be Cleveland's last chance to win a game. Maybe even next week against Buffalo. But honestly, I see Cleveland going 0-16 this year. They're not competitive in any aspect of the game. Defense is 29th. Offense is 29th. Defense is 31st. Passing is 26th. Rushing is 27th. They're just not good. They are a very JV-like football team. I feel for their fans. I don't even know how you guys deal with it on a yearly basis. Cleveland does nothing to help themselves ever. They are the worst run franchise in modern sports, in my opinion. I don't think there is a single professional team out there that fails so epically as much as Cleveland. And I don't even know what to tell you. They bail on coaches after 1 year. They bail on GMs. They bail on quarterbacks. I mean, we're starting RG3. No, not we. I mean, I am far from a Cleveland Browns fan, but they're starting RG3. Dude hasn't played since week 1. You have Cody Kressler, who you drafted this year, to be potentially your future at quarterback, but you're going to hand it off to RG3. Now, I don't know, maybe Kressler's a little banged up. I have no idea, to be real honest, but I'm not starting RG3. I don't see the point. And maybe you're just trying to avoid the 0-16 start, or not start, the 0-16 season. But very sad. Very sad in Cleveland, and the Bengals, they whooped the crap out of my Eagles last week, so I'm kind of pissed off at them. But Bengals win that game, win 2 in a row. Next is the Bears at the Lions. This is the last of the 1 o'clock games. Very simply, the Lions. Lions are a better team. Chicago's got a pretty good defense. I mean, they are number 7 overall in the league. Excuse my hair, man. I haven't done anything with it all day. They are 7th in the league. Lions just an overall better team. Not much to really talk about here. Lions are going to win that one. Next is Jets at the Niners. If it wasn't for that Week 1 victory over the Rams, San Francisco would be in the same ship as the Browns. San Francisco got rid of a high-class head coach that totally turned that organization around. It was a joke since Garcia left. Not competitive, couldn't win any games. You bring in Harbaugh, he turns the whole culture around, gets you back to winning. You're in playoff games, you're in NFC Championship games, you're in Super Bowls, and then you let him go because the GM couldn't get along with him. There was a power stroke, ego trip thing going on. You are a sports franchise that pays millions of dollars to its players and advertising and all that. You need to learn to separate yourselves. Harbaugh is one of those coaches that wins everywhere he goes. Stanford, Michigan, San Francisco. I mean, everywhere this guy goes, nothing but winning follows. And you let him go. And you kept a GM who then in turn hired Tom Tashula or whatever his name is, a joke, 1 year and done. And then he went out and figured that, Chip Kelly is going to be the answer here in San Francisco. What a joke. What a joke-run franchise. The sooner they get it through their head that the front office needs to change, the sooner San Francisco turns around and becomes relevant. Because there are certain teams in the NFL that need to be good. Cowboys, Patriots, Niners, Steelers, Colts. You know, when you think professional football, those are the ones that you should never have a run quite like San Francisco is having. Kind of like what the Oakland Raiders had there for a couple of years, but Derek Carr came around and they did some good draft picks and excuse me, maybe Al Davis passing was a good thing for the Raiders. I mean, he kind of ran that show kind of like Jerry Jones runs Dallas. But they have definitely turned the corner there. I like the Jets, though, to beat the Niners because San Francisco is 30th in offense, 32 in defense because they're on the field forever. Trust me, I'm an Eagles fan. I dealt with Chip Kelly for 3 years. It's terrible coach. He's never going to do anything in the NFL. He's too stubborn to change. Next up, we are looking at the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what? This is going to be an actual pretty good game. It's in Tampa Bay. This is a tough one to decide. The Buccaneers have really been making strides this season. New Orleans, they're just kind of who they are. I mean, they're hot offensively. So hot, in fact, they're the number 1 offense in the NFL. But defensively, they're 27th. I mean, that's total opposite ends of the spectrum. You can't score a whole bunch of points and then give up a whole bunch of points because you're just not going to win the game. And they're number 1 passing offense. Tampa Bay's just kind of middle of the road, except for defense. They're 22nd in defense, but everything else is kind of middle of the road. 12th offense, 13th passing, 17th rushing. I'm going to go out on a limb here with this one, even though I feel like New Orleans could win this game and might win this game. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to win at home. Next up, you're looking the Atlanta Falcons versus the Los Angeles Rams. That's my head scratcher. How does Los Angeles re-sign Jeff Fisher for another? I don't remember. It was 2 or 3 years. I think it was 2 years. He is the worst coach in NFL history. Not in my opinion. This is statistics. He has lost the most games as any head coach in NFL history. He has missed the playoffs 16 times out of 22 seasons as a head coach. He hasn't been to the playoffs since 2008. Hasn't had a team above 500 since 2009. But yet, you award him with a 2-year contract extension for giving you the 32nd ranked overall offense, 29th in passing, 30th in rushing. Defense is the only thing that's a bright spot in Los Angeles. John Gruden's going to love this when he gets hired in 2 years. They're going up against the Atlanta Falcons, and this is kind of a no-brainer. Atlanta's going to win this game. The sooner Jeff Fisher gets fired, the sooner Los Angeles will be relevant. Because let's be honest, you're in the Los Angeles market now. You're not in the St. Louis market. There are the Clippers. There are the Kings. There are the Angels. You know, there is USC. There are a lot more things, sunny beaches and beautiful women and SeaWorld and all kinds of great stuff you can go see in and around the Los Angeles area if you're going to have this ho-hum, most overrated head coach run your team into the ground. People aren't going to show up. So, that being said, onward, Seattle at Green Bay. Other than the Dallas game, I think this might be one of the games of the day. I'll be interested to see this game. Aaron Rodgers is coming on strong. It's in Green Bay. I'm going to lean solely because it's in Green Bay. I'm going to lean towards the Packers to win this game, even though I think it's going to be a competitive game and I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. Next up, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, your 8:30 game, your late night game, prime time. Man, the Cowboys are playing strong this year. But they're going up against the Giants, the only team that beat them. Maybe shouldn't have beat them if Williams knows enough to run out of bounds. Who knows? Cowboys could be sitting here 12-0. But there's something about an NFC East game where they're close, know each other so well. I think these two teams are going to meet again in the playoffs. And for that reason, I'm hoping the Cowboys win this one. That way the Giants end up upsetting them in the postseason, just because I hate the Giants a little bit less than I do the Cowboys. I just think it's hard for a team to do a three-peat on any single team in a given season. So I think if the Giants win this one, that gives them 2 up to win again in the playoffs, which I think is going to be a game that's eventually going to happen. 3 in a row, I don't see it happening. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Going with the Cowboys to win. Monday night game might actually be a pretty good game in itself. Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots. I have family that are Baltimore fans. I got friends that are Patriot fans. It's going to be a close game. It's in Foxborough. So it's going to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't lose at home. I know they're going against the NFL's best defense, ranked number 1, Baltimore Ravens. But New England's ranked number 9. Offense is 5. I think they obviously have the better quarterback. Gronkowski being out isn't as much of a big deal to me, I think, as some other people. You got lots of other weapons there. So yeah, that's my picks. I think it is going to be Tom Brady for the win on Monday night. Let me know what you think. Hit us up on MK Sports Talk on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at MK Sports Talk 1. email us at mksportstalk@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. You know, tell us what your picks are, where you think my picks went wrong. Other than that, man, guys, it was good talking to you. And let's. I'm probably gonna post another video sometime Sunday, maybe after the first games, to talk about maybe some of the recaps throughout the game, where I was right, where I was wrong. Any crazy things that happened, just a little update throughout the day, and maybe again after the end of the 4 o'clock games. Hit us up. It's good talking with you. Fly Eagles fly.